Just remember, they can judge you, they can make fun of you, but they can't take away your heart, your passion, your talent, your knowledge.
That's true. Thank you.
You got it. Welcome back to our special hashtag No Judgment today. And according to the National Education Association, more than 160,000 kids stay home from school each day because they are scared of being bullied.
Incredible.
At the root of the problem, in many cases, it's kids passing judgment and being hurtful to one another.
Yeah.
So Bobbie Thomas, our own dear Bobbie, headed to Albert Leonard Middle School in New Rochelle, New York, to chat with students and their parents about this growing epidemic.
Hey, Bobbie.
Hi. And I have to say, just walking through the halls of that middle school, it's clear that the principal and the school district have made a huge effort to combat bullying. And as you'll see, it's having an impact on encouraging students to judge less and accept more. Take a look.
In the age of social media, filters, and a celebrity-obsessed youth, the pressure to conform can mount, and middle school can be a battleground.
They judge you. You can see it on their faces.
When I first dyed my hair, a lot of people was like, why did she do that? And that I made a mistake. I just got a lot of hate from that.
Earlier this year, there was one kid that was getting pushed around. He sort of dressed differently.
If you don't have like name brands, people will definitely judge that.
I sat down with 5 incredibly honest, self-aware students to find out what's happening in the hallways and online.
Raise your hand if you think being judged at school happens more than once a day. Does it happen every single hour?
Probably, yes.
For a parent, difficult to hear, but important to address. So to gain insight into how to help, we asked their moms and dads to watch from another room.
Can anyone give me an example of a time that you may have felt judged?
Wear like different clothes than everybody else.
The fact that I'm tall, people expect that my main interest should be sports, but I'm also into art, I'm into doing modeling at my school, and I'm just, interested in doing new things and not just sticking to one thing.
I was judged because of not necessarily my religion, but the fact that I practiced it and I was open about it.
When I first came here to the United States, I didn't know any bit of English. I used to get bullied because of that. I remember this one time I was walking home and this kid was yelling at me from across the street. I was stupid and everything.
5th grade lunch was literally the worst thing that's ever happened to me. So there was 2 tables and I sat at one table. And I sat there because my friend sat there. And then the kid that bullied me, the 2 kids that bullied me came over. It was really hurtful because I never did anything to them.
I used to go to a school in the city. This kid who judged me for having being an African American, and I just always felt bad about it.
Finish this sentence. Kids would be happier if
They told the teacher and made it stop.
they told the teacher
And made it stop.
and made it stop. Anyone else want to finish the sentence? Kids would be happier if.
They didn't pay attention what other people have to say about them. When you're confident, then they don't need other people's opinions.
And if you could tell all the parents watching out there, what do we need to know to make your lives better?
Try to read body language. Sometimes people go home, they look upset, but they act like they're happy. And I think it's if the parents notice that, it would be a lot better for their children.
I think knowing whether or not your child is ready for social media is a very important thing, because certain kids are not ready for the comments that come with social media, the comparing that comes with social media.
How do I know if my kid's ready for social media?
If they know their worth, then I think they're ready. I definitely think maybe not before 12?
Yeah, definitely.
Not before 12,
Yeah,
because I think you're still starting to find yourself and know your hobbies, your personality, and it's all kind of forming. And so I think that certain seeds of insecurity are going to be built.
On that note, I want to check in with the parents to get their take on everything we just learned.
I am blown away with how grounded they are. What was your reaction to watching them?
Oh, it was refreshing to see them coming out and saying how they feel, and just also what kind of pressure they're under, and us as parents to see how we can help.
What was the most surprising thing you heard?
When he still showed that thing at the school and in the city still bothered him, because I was surprised that it still bothered him.
So I was curious, how do these parents raise self-assured kids in this day and age?
The balance is
figuring out how to build into your kids how much you love them and how worthy they are, but then also balance that with real world, which is that they are not the shiniest rock, and there are going to be some good things that they're really good at, and some things, you know, they might not be so good at.
But the overwhelming advice was the simplest. Let kids be kids.
One thing I was struck by the whole discussion is just how comfortable these kids were immediately talking to each other. A lot of them didn't know each other, but they're laughing and smiling, communicating, sharing stories, totally open just from the get-go. And I think that's a natural state of kids. When kids are bullying each other, when bad things are happening, that's almost always outside influences. And it's funny that what we need to do as parents is not so much create sort of new things to help kids relate, but sort of remove the bad things we're putting in their way that stops them from connecting in the natural, great way we saw these kids connect when they were put together for the first time. I thought it was beautiful to see it, and that's a natural state.
What a great point, huh?
Wow. I was completely taken back by how grounded and self-aware these children were. And I think the silver lining in that is, while they actually said to me off camera, you know, we can tell when our friends have been, when they first start social media, we see a difference, but seeing how aware they are and how they're handling that outside influence, it's just hopeful as a parent to know that they're aware of what's happening.
I can't even imagine what it's like in today's world for kids.
And that dad's last comment, like their natural state of being is to get along, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, coming up.
Well done, Bob.
Thank you, Bobbie.